So hey guys, it's Zyant again, and no, this is not Titanfall, as the more observant of you will likely notice. I didn't get into the beta early, and hopefully I'll get in tomorrow and I'll be able to bring you some beta coverage, because, you know, you could probably use some more Titanfall beta spam in your inbox. But that's not what I want to talk about today, as is per usual. Instead I want to talk about Titanfall, yes, but more about the developers and how games interact with one another. And more specifically, how game developers interact with the games that they play and the games that they make. And this is an especially interesting case because Titanfall, as you may know, was made by the same people who made Call of Duty. And so I wonder if they've been watching what Call of Duty has been doing. Have the Respawn developers, who were the Infinity Ward developers, or the main contingent of them, have they been watching the downward spiral of Call of Duty? And the question, of course, the answer is obvious. The answer is yes, of course they have. Now, how much they've been playing of recent Call of Duties is debatable. I imagine some of them more than others, especially the ones that are more invested in the Call of Duty franchise they helped create. And especially when Titanfall feels, I imagine, I don't know this, I imagine it feels similar. I will not say the same, but it probably feels a little similar to how Call of Duty plays. And recently I'm thinking about this. I've been watching Call of Duty streams because I don't want to watch Titanfall until I actually have access to the beta or the game itself. Because unlike certain games that I can watch without knowing anything about them, Titanfall is not one of those. I want to know something. I want to be invested in the game before I actually sink my teeth into it. And so I was thinking about the map design of recent Call of Duties and how a lot of people haven't liked it. I haven't liked it. Black Ops 2's maps were okay. Modern Warfare 3's maps were ass. Black Ops 1 maps, they were pretty good. Ghost's maps are less than stellar. Very, very less than stellar. And I don't know how Titanfall's will be. And so I wonder for a moment how the Respawn developers have felt about the Call of Duty maps. Because they came from Quake. They came from Counter-Strike. Some of them came from God of War. Some of them went all the way back to the original Medal of Honor series, which started the whole shooter thing for the Call of Duty developers. And you gotta think, if they've played any of the recent Call of Duties for any length of time, they have to be disappointed. They have to feel slighted by the developers of Treyarch and the new Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer games. They have to feel like, you know, this is not the legacy we wanted for this series. This is not the kind of design that we thought of. This is not the kind of interest that we thought that our series would garner. And, you know, you gotta wonder, has there been any discussion among Respawn and Infinity Ward and Treyarch saying where one way is better than the other way, or what have you? And I imagine that it's all been really positive. I'm sure there hasn't been much in the way of disparaging. There hasn't been much in the way of, you did this wrong, this is not how you're supposed to do it. Because really, these Call of Duties are a new company and a new team's vision for what Call of Duty should be. Ghosts is proof of that to me, because Ghosts differs in some ways very strongly from Call of Duty's past. They're trying to make an identity for themselves. But again, my question, I think, remains that would the Respawn developers look at what's been done and think to themselves, that's interesting, why hadn't I thought of that when I was on Call of Duty? Or, you know what, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, when Modern Warfare 3 Black Ops 2, this was not what we meant when we were making this. And you have done something that was out of our intention and turned out, Death Streaks, I think, is one of these, to be less than stellar. So I guess the question becomes, if you were part of the original team that developed Call of Duty, and you were seeing what the teams that are now responsible for this series are doing with it, what would you say? And I don't want you to just flame like, oh, they're doing such a terrible job. No. Give if you can, one piece of constructive feedback based on how you think the design of a Call of Duty should be done.